General Hospital.
What if Port Charles was about to face one of its most dangerous conspiracies yet? At first, everything appeared perfectly ordinary. The Metro Court was bustling with familiar faces, business meetings continued as planned, and longtime rivals carried on with their usual battles. But beneath the calm surface, a quiet game of strategy had already begun, and only a handful of people realized that someone was carefully positioning every piece. Jason Morgan was the first to notice something unusual. Over the past few days, several trusted contacts had suddenly disappeared from their normal routines. Phone calls went unanswered. Scheduled meetings were canceled without explanation. Even people who rarely showed signs of fear now seemed unusually cautious whenever certain names were mentioned. One name continued appearing in every conversation: Sidwell. Jason couldn't understand why so many unrelated events pointed back to the same individual. Sidwell had certainly made his share of enemies over the years, but this felt different. Someone wasn't simply watching him. Someone wanted everyone else to believe he was becoming a threat. Meanwhile, Anna Devane received confidential information from an anonymous source. The file contained financial records connected to several shell companies that had quietly purchased abandoned warehouses and office buildings throughout Port Charles. On paper, every transaction appeared legal, but together they formed an unmistakable pattern. The locations surrounded several key areas of the city. Someone had been preparing for something long before anyone realized it. Anna immediately contacted Jason. The two agreed that whatever was happening involved far more than an ordinary business dispute. Every clue suggested a coordinated operation designed to manipulate powerful people without revealing the identity of whoever stood behind it. Elsewhere, Carly Corinthus sensed that something was wrong long before anyone shared the evidence. She noticed that conversations would suddenly stop whenever she entered a room. Friends who normally trusted one another had become unusually suspicious. Even simple misunderstandings were quickly growing into personal conflicts. Rather than reacting emotionally, Carly encouraged everyone around her to slow down and focus on facts instead of rumors. Her advice would soon prove more important than anyone expected. Across town, Cassius received an encrypted message from an unknown sender. The instructions were short but unmistakably urgent. He was told that Sidwell had to be removed from an important operation before sensitive information reached the wrong people. The message never explained why. It never identified who truly sent the order. It simply warned that hesitation would have consequences. Cassius stared at the screen for several minutes. Throughout his life, he had learned that following instructions without asking questions often created even greater problems later. This assignment felt different from anything he had encountered before. Instead of acting immediately, he began quietly investigating the source of the mysterious message. His search led him toward Cullum. Cullum had become increasingly influential behind the scenes, often appearing wherever complicated negotiations unfolded. He rarely spoke more than necessary, but his calm confidence convinced many people that he always knew more than everyone else. When Cassius privately questioned him, Cullum insisted that Sidwell's growing influence threatened plans that had taken months to organize. Still, he offered remarkably few details. That alone made Cassius suspicious. Jason's investigation soon uncovered another surprising discovery. Several anonymous online accounts had spent weeks spreading carefully crafted rumors throughout Port Charles. Each story contained just enough truth to appear believable, while quietly encouraging people to distrust one another. Anna realized they weren't dealing with isolated gossip. Someone had built an entire strategy around misinformation. Every rumor, every anonymous message, every suspicious encounter, every unexpected misunderstanding, they were all connected. Spinelli joined the investigation, using his technical expertise to trace encrypted communications moving through several overseas servers.
After hours of work, he finally uncovered a hidden network of false identities communicating through coded language. None of the messages directly ordered violence. Instead, they relied on vague instructions that different people could interpret in different ways. It was a clever system. If anything went wrong, no single message clearly revealed the mastermind's intentions. Meanwhile, Sidwell noticed unfamiliar vehicles following him through Port Charles. Rather than confronting anyone, he quietly changed his daily routine and documented everything he observed. To his surprise, he eventually crossed paths with Cassius. Neither man trusted the other completely, but after comparing what each had discovered, they reached the same conclusion. Someone wanted them to become enemies.
Someone expected them to react without asking questions. Instead, they agreed to uncover the truth together. Back at the Metro Court, Carly organized a private meeting with Jason, Anna, Spinelli, and a few trusted allies. Instead of debating theories, everyone focused only on confirmed facts. Piece by piece, the larger picture emerged. Shell companies had purchased strategic properties. Anonymous accounts had spread misleading information. Financial transfers linked multiple false identities together. Encrypted messages encouraged conflict without revealing a clear objective. Everything pointed toward one conclusion. The real mastermind wanted Port Charles distracted while something much larger happened behind the scenes. Anna quickly coordinated with local authorities to monitor several abandoned buildings connected to the investigation. Jason and Spinelli continued following the digital trail. Carly worked quietly to calm growing tensions throughout the community, reminding friends not to let fear replace trust. As the investigation reached its climax, several hidden locations were suddenly abandoned overnight. Computers disappeared, documents vanished, bank accounts were emptied. Whoever controlled the operation realized their carefully constructed plan was beginning to collapse. During one final search, Jason discovered a secure room containing maps of Port Charles covered with handwritten notes and photographs. Every major family in town had been observed. Every influential relationship had been analyzed. The operation had never been about one individual. It had always been about controlling the city's most powerful alliances. Cassius looked around the room in disbelief. Had he followed the mysterious instructions without asking questions, he would have unknowingly become part of someone else's plan. Instead, choosing patience had exposed the entire conspiracy. Anna collected the remaining evidence while investigators continued searching for the unknown financier responsible for organizing everything. Although many questions remained unanswered, one important victory had already been achieved. Trust had defeated manipulation. Carly later reflected that Port Charles had survived because its residents refused to believe every rumor they heard. They challenged assumptions, worked together, and remembered that appearances rarely reveal the complete truth. As life slowly returned to normal, Spinelli noticed one final encrypted transmission arriving from an unknown location. The message contained only 6 words: "You stopped one game, not all." Jason exchanged a quiet glance with Anna. Both understood exactly what the message meant. Somewhere beyond Port Charles, another mystery was already waiting, and when it finally arrived, it would challenge every alliance the town had worked so hard to protect. If you enjoyed this fictional General Hospital-inspired what-if story, share your own theories in the comments about who you believe is secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more original Port Charles-inspired fan stories, dramatic twists, and creative adventures inspired by the world of General Hospital.